Okay, welcome back. And as you can see, we are finally doing the Sega Genesis Mini. Just came in the other day. We're gonna go ahead and do Streets of Rage 2. We're gonna go ahead and do it on normal. And we're gonna use Blaze, because she's a babe. Grab the hidden one-up right here. Okay, so first impressions. I am, so far, very happy with the Sega Genesis Mini. Works well, looks good. Pretty good library. Although I will say, I am a little bit disappointed that surprisingly there's a number of really good first-party titles from Sega Genesis that are left off. For example, only Streets of Rage 2. Really would have preferred if Streets of Rage 1 was also included on the library, but Streets of Rage 1, one of my favorite games, not in the Sega Genesis Mini. I don't really like Streets of Rage 3, so I don't really mind that it's been left off. Also missing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles. That's disappointing. I love that game. And then, in my opinion, really a missed opportunity. Only one Shinobi game, the third Shinobi game, is on the library, but I love all three I love all three Shinobi games. I think it's really disappointing that only the third one is included. And then there's a few others. Golden Axe 2 is not on the library, neither is Golden Axe 3. Echo the Dolphin 1, but not Echo the Dolphin 2. Vector Man 1, but not Vector Man 2. Those are the minor complaints. The big ones, I think, are no Streets of Rage 1 and no Shinobi Shadow Dancer or Shinobi 2. Okay, so those are the minor nitpicky complaints. For the most part, the game library is really good. And I've been doing a lot of Cinemassacre rants, so I thought I'd take a break from that. Let's talk about baseball. I'm a big baseball fan, and some of the persons that are pretty new to the channel are also baseball fans. So let's talk some baseball for a stream, or excuse me, for a change. Quick shout out to J9 Mills. He's been doing play-by-play broadcasts for the Atlanta Braves. And he's been doing some pretty spiffy giveaways on his channel too. One of which I was really happy. I won the tickets to the Pittsburgh Pirates game at Truist Park, so I went to visit my mom in Georgia and got a chance to see the Braves play my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. My history with the Atlanta Braves, I lived in Jacksonville, Florida until summer of 1996. My family and I moved the metro Atlanta area, East Cobb County. Just in time for the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. And we didn't have cable, at least not for the first couple years we were in Georgia. But back then there was what they called superstations. If you lived in Georgia, you were probably very lucky to get the TBS, the Turner Superstation, for free. It was over-the-air terrestrial television in Georgia. It was a cable channel, but because it was broadcast out of Georgia, you were able to get it. It's kind of like if you lived in the Chicago area, you got a WGN. And WGN, I know, used to show all the Chicago Cubs games, as well as a whole bunch of Chicago Bulls games. TBS used to show, faithfully, all summer long, they would show the Atlanta Braves games. Just about every Braves home and away game was broadcast on TBS. So if you had cable, you could watch the Atlanta Braves on TBS, or if you were lucky and lived in Georgia, you were able to catch TBS over the antenna. I'm just gonna spam special attacks on Barbun. So I watched a lot of Atlanta Braves games on television in summer 1996, summer 1997, and I was very fond of the Atlanta Braves team in 1997. That, in my opinion, I know they won the World Series in 1995, but the 1997 team was my favorite. They still had their big three pitchers, Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox. They also had Denny Nagel. I think they got him from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He ended up winning 20 games for them as a starting pitcher, which was pretty amazing. The Braves won over 100 games that year, and they also, Chipper Jones had one of his best seasons. He had over 100 RBIs. I think that was his most productive season as a hitter. And I remember the 1997 season was something of a nightmare because as good as that Braves team was, the Florida Marlins hired a whole bunch of mercs, mercenaries, guys like Moises Alou, Bobby Bonilla. I think Kevin Brown might have been on that team. Ivan Hernandez, Craig Counsell, Gary Sheffield. And even though the Braves had a really good record, they had a better record and, of course, won the division that year, they just did not match up well against that team of mercs on the Florida Marlins. So it looked like they were on a collision course. Marlins naturally ended up winning the wild card. Now I can't remember what team the Marlins got in the wild card round, but I remember thinking, please, whomever that team was, please let them beat the Florida Marlins so that we don't have to face them in the National League Championship Series. Surely enough, the Florida Marlins win the wild card round, go to the National League Championship Series, and upset the Atlanta Braves. And I just remember being so bitterly disappointed because the Braves had such a good team. They'd had such a great year. And to be beaten by that team of mercenaries from the Florida Marlins, which they did go on to win the World Series in 1997, but as soon as that season was over, that team was disassembled, the pieces were all sold off. It was a very cynical team. They seemed to be only put together for the purpose of winning that one world championship and then being promptly sold off. Ugly baseball. Oops, didn't mean to... eat the power-up. Now, I've been tuning into J9 Mills Plays Braves play-by-play streams because I do have a soft spot for the Atlanta Braves, having grown up watching them throughout the 90s. By the way, those superstations like WGN Chicago and TBS Atlanta, they no longer carry all of the like WGN doesn't show Cubs games anymore, and TBS doesn't show Braves games anymore. Both of those superstations dropped their coverage of the sporting teams, which really disappointing. Why on earth they did that, I'll never know. This is a great level, by the way. It reminds me of, it's supposed to be Disneyland. Break open the arcade cabinets for money. But I'm pulling for the Braves this year because I think it was a absolutely terrible move by baseball commissioner Rob Manfred. He's made a lot of bad moves. I disagree with I hate the ghost runner on second base in extra innings. I hate the doubleheader rule. But taking the MLB All-Star game out of Atlanta, that was a terrible move. This is supposed to be Pirates of the Caribbean, by the way, the line cue. Like, the whole point of having it in Atlanta was to celebrate the late Hank Aaron, Hammerin' Hank Aaron, who, for the longest time, you know, he broke Babe Ruth's home run record, you know, for career home runs. And he passed away, I believe, last year. So the whole MLB All-Star Game in Atlanta was going to honor Hank Aaron. But Commissioner Rob Manfred didn't like some politics that were going on in Georgia over, I think, voting or whatever, new voting regulations. So he took the All-Star game out of Atlanta and put it in Colorado instead. Personally, like, I don't watch the All-Star game. The Major League Baseball All-Star game sucks. Pretty much every All-Star game sucks these days. You know, with basketball, nobody plays any defense. It's basically just a three-point shooting contest. Everyone's just trying to make a flashy dunk or a whole bunch of points. Pro football, ugh. The Pro Bowl, you know, the NFL's version of the All-Star game. No one wants to do that. It's in Hawaii. It's low rated because nobody wants to actually, you know, get hurt tackling the other player. So the Pro Bowl is not worth watching. But be that as it may, I still think it was wrong to take the All-Star game out of Georgia. I haven't, you know, I'll never forget, it was, well, I can't remember when it was. It was one of the All-Star games, I think 2005 or maybe 2006, where it ended in a tie because the players didn't want to play anymore in extra innings. If that isn't an indicator of just how little the Major League Baseball cares about the All-Star game, in my opinion, they did a lot of damage to the All-Star game. You know, the good thing about baseball is that it's not a contact-heavy sport like basketball or football. So with the All-Star game, you know, you should still be able to see players trying, you know, putting forth effort to make the game entertaining. But when they chose to end the All-Star game in a tie, like, they did an incredible amount of damage to the All-Star game. Fans, I think a lot of fans haven't forgotten. I can't remember when it was. I think it was at an All-Star game in Milwaukee. 2005, maybe 2006. But the damage they did that night, I don't think Major League Baseball's All-Star game has really recovered. The reason I'm packing so much at the bottom of the screen is because I know that there's an extra life down there somewhere. I think it's right around here. There we go. Having an okay run so far. Haven't lost a life yet. Here's where we fight what looks very much to be a Blanca clone from Street Fighter 2. Zamza. Not Blanca, but Zamza. Alright, that's the end of the Disneyland level. Now comes my favorite level of the game, the baseball stadium. You know, why not? We're talking about baseball. Bootsy's a big baseball fan. We can still see the Disney castle in the background. We're gonna bash everyone with a lead pipe as though we're a baseball bat. But yes, I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. My all-time favorite player, one of the most controversial ones, Barry Bonds. You know, the guy had a absolutely great career before he started taking steroids. And unfortunately, that's all everyone talks about. He was also a world-class jerk. That much I can admit, but he had an awesome swing. He was a great outfielder. He was really the total package. Not only did he have all the power hitting and the silver sluggers, the MVPs, the gold gloves, but he also had... He didn't get Rookie of the Year. That's the only... Rookie of the Year and World Series champion are the only pieces of hardware he never got. But he was also a menace on the base paths. He's the only player to steal 500 bases and hit 500 home runs. It's really one of the great tragedies that the Pittsburgh Pirates couldn't hold on to Barry Bonds, that he ended up going to the Giants. I like the McFarlane sports action figures. I have a really nice Pittsburgh Pirates Barry Bonds figure where he's wearing the home whites and he's doing his power swing. And I also have a really nice Barry Bonds commemorative figure by McFarlane. He's hitting his 756th home run to break Hank Aaron's record. I always thought this song sounded almost like a sped-up version of Never Gonna Survive by Seal. Retro gamers love to comment on the you know, it's kind of the music. It's kind of a house electronica club mix. It's all over the map, but it's pretty good. Now the level that I like the most, the music that I like the most is on the next level, the boat. we are just going to town with this lead pipe. Now we get to fight the big fat guy. Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger. And what can I say about Streets of Rage 2? It is a really good game. I rented this game a lot when I was a kid. It is the best of the Streets of Rage trilogy. But I really like the first one. The first one is a perfect pop-in-and-play game. Came out at the perfect time on Sega Genesis. It's not as polished as this game, but for whatever reason, even despite the rough edges, I actually, these days, I prefer it. It's a little bit more challenging than Streets of Rage 2. Now, Streets of Rage 3, I don't like. I don't know, I just felt like they were trying to do too much. And this is a game that, you know, there's retro gamers that will swear any oath that this was the best of the beat-em-ups. Back when beat-em-up was the dominant genre of video games. I mean, just think of all the beat-em-ups that came out. There was... This one really competed head-to-head with the Final Fight trilogy. And I like the Final Fight games just fine. It's really difficult to say definitively whether any of these is the best. I think I will say that Maki, the female character from Final Fight 2, I like her just a little bit more than I like Blaze. And that's not to take anything away from Blaze, but Maki is just gorgeous. And here we fight the Ultimate Warrior. And there is a way to kind of be cheap to beat him. But you can stun lock him. I don't want to do that though. I want to beat him the old-fashioned way. Wish I hadn't lost a life, but that's alright. This is my favorite musical composition in the whole game. I also really like... It's an effect that they used on the boat level in the first Streets of Rage. But the way that the screen kind of cascades up and down like a boat out at sea, I think it's nicely done. It's a pretty interesting effect. I guess while I am on the topic of beat-em-ups, I think I talked about it during my Double Dragon 2 gameplay, but I am something of an apologist for Super Double Dragon 4 on the Super Nintendo. I really like that one. I think it has flaws, surely, but I think that's an underrated beat-em-up. It has a very innovative combat system where you have to wait for the enemy to attack, block the attack, and then you string your combos together. I thought it was very innovative. It's kind of funny. This guy's a martial arts expert, and here I am clubbing him to death with a lead pipe. These kickboxer style enemies that are all named after birds, much tougher than the standard thugs we've been beating up. Not sure if you can hear the controller in my hands, the way the button kind of clicks. That's what happens with the Sega Genesis controller. They all sound like that. Alright, let's see how much damage we can do with the sword. I think I'd like to get it all the way to the boss without losing it. No, come back, sword. Disappointed that I lost a life. Couldn't be helped. This part's irritating, where they lob grenades at you through the windows. Usually I play as Axel. He's the most well-rounded character. Alright, well at least we kept the sword. But I'm not happy about losing so many lives. usually a little bit more careful. I am pretty out of practice with Blaze, though. Like Axel, she's well balanced, but I think she has a little bit less power than Axel and a little bit more speed. Now we have to fight the boxer. This guy is tough. Usually kicks my butt. All right, able to beat him without losing a life. A couple other beat 'em ups. You know, if we are going to talk about beat 'em ups, there's some that always come up that are fun to talk about, and then there's others that don't get brought up that much that I like to talk about. First, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. The second Turtles game, the arcade version, really nice. Might get the arcade 1-up someday. The third one, the Manhattan Project on the NES. I know you can land on your feet when you... There we go. Man, this guy is... taking me to the cleaners. Of course, the Final Fight games. I like all three Final Fight games. I don't think there's a bad one. I think the third one has the weakest characters. The only one that's really fun to play as is Guy. First one, they're all fun to, or at least Cody and Guy are fun to play as. Hagar, not so much. I know there's a power-up coming up, I think on the very next screen, so not being able to beat these guys without losing a life is disappointing. I am going to beat this game. I'm only going to have to use one continue. Like, there it is. Like, what a waste. Might as well just punish this guy with special attacks. ups that always come up. Turtles in Time. That one, also great. Both the arcade and the Super Nintendo version. Hyperstone Heist on Sega Genesis is perfectly fine too. Disappointed that they couldn't get that on. That they couldn't put that on the Genesis Mini. That would have been perfect. A couple that never get brought up, a couple of my favorites, Knights of the Round and King of Dragons. I've heard them referred to as hack and slash, but it's the same thing. Just like, you know, you could call Turtles in Time or the Turtles arcade game hack and slash. I'm terrible at this part with the motorcycles. Knights of the Round, I really enjoy because it's got a very nice medieval theme. Man, those guys are gonna spam my pipe. Alright, well the good news is at least I was able to get through this section without losing a life, because I can refill my life right up here. But it's going to be extremely difficult to beat this boss with okay, it's possible. Just have to kind of catch him. There we go. Alright, now... Okay, 2 more levels. We have the Robot Factory and then the final level. So, we're doing pretty good. And now that I've talked about baseball, I've talked a little bit about beat-em-ups in general. Something I've been meaning to work into a video, haven't been able to so far. Why not now? I'm so glad, by the way, that you can actually slam these fat guys. In the first Streets of Rage, the fat guys are, if you try to slam them, it actually hurts you. Which makes sense, but it's still annoying. But when the pandemic started, I was very much overweight. I hadn't been able to get my weight under control for years. And then when the pandemic started, I knew that I'd never have an opportunity like that to focus on my health again. Plus, you know, the pandemic, of course, being about health in general. It was a perfect opportunity to get in shape, so went on a strict diet, started exercising, and I've lost all of the excess weight. I'm finally at a healthy weight. I run a 5K every morning. My cardiovascular fitness is up. Cut out all kinds of junk food, alcohol. You know, there's just no feeling like feeling good. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. I was watching Red Cow Entertainment, the guys who did that really funny Cinemassacre podcast, and one of the guys did a video not too long ago where he talked about how he lost 140 pounds. And I was stunned. You know, I lost 90 pounds. I went from 270 to 180, and you know, I thought I did pretty well, but holy cow, this guy lost 140 pounds. That's incredible. He went from about 300 pounds to 155. I lost the lead pipe. And I am not able to get past her whip. One thing they do in Streets of Rage 3 that I'm glad they don't do in this game is they'll steal the health items. Oh, I shouldn't have triggered. Alright, this stretch is pretty tough. I usually lose a life or two over here. I mean, you're just fighting so many enemies. It's so easy to be overwhelmed. We are going to need that chicken or turkey. This guy is not hard to beat by himself, but when he has company, boy is he tough. Holy cow, they're everywhere. I think I want this guy to throw a few more knives, or drop a few knives at least, because we are going to use those on the robots we're about to fight. They're weak on knives. And thankfully, Blaze is fairly quick fighting with knives. So let's get a knife ready. We've got one more there. That last one is too far off screen. Gotta be quick with these guys. They're not too tough, but if you take too long, they will electrocute you. So you want to, yeah, just like that. You want to be ready to slam them or throw them as soon as you touch them. Ah, darn. Lost another life. Alright, let's see how we do with the knife. Well, it doesn't matter. The knife is gone. Alright, we should be able to beat these guys pretty easily. Also want to make sure, yeah, you're not standing right by when they're low on health, because they will explode. Alright, I got one life back. Not sure if I have enough lives to make it all the way through the final boss. We'll see. It'd be nice. But we're going to start off with another one of those robots. And hopefully we can beat the boxer with the pipe. We did okay with the sword the first time we fought him. This is your basic boss rush. I believe the pipe is slightly less effective than the sword. One great thing about this game, and I suppose the first Streets of Rage as well, not so much with the third game, but there's really no story per se. I mean, we know the story is that Adam has been kidnapped, you know, Blaze and Axel's friend Adam. But there's no, like, transition as to why am I going to a baseball field, why am I getting on a boat, why am I going to Disneyland. In Streets of Rage 3, they added dialogue boxes to kind of give the characters some character so that you can kind of have some semblance of a story. I kind of liked it better when you're just kind of using your imagination and, you know, figuring out for yourself why you're going here, why you're going there. Okay, for the third time, we are going to fight Blanca. This time his name is Nail. And he's going to take one of our lives. Now, after each boss that you've beaten, you get some life back, so we can use some special attack. And I know we have Ultimate Warrior coming up again. Coming up next, first we fight Shiva. Not too tough. Mr. X can be tough to get a beat on. And there's a couple of lives that if I hadn't been so careless and I hadn't lost, I'd probably be able to complete this section. Shiva's a really cool character. It's pretty awesome that they let you play as Shiva in the it was an unlockable character in the third Streets of Rage. Alright, now Mr. X. Let's see if we can beat him without using a continue. Pretty funny that Mr. X doesn't mind machine gunning his own henchmen. Was that it? I think we may have a chance of beating him without using the continue. Yep, how about that? Able to beat Mr. X without using a continue. On normal. In the first Streets of Rage, there's like a secret ending where you can choose to become the boss. It's pretty funny. But this is a great two-player co-op game. Oh, initial time. Streets of Rage 3, the United States version, was heavily edited. There was a boss enemy that looked like a very flamboyant Freddie Mercury. His name was Ash. Completely removed from the game and replaced with Shiva. Really wish they'd kept Ash in. It's certainly a unique looking character. And then also there's different endings depending on how you play the game. And one ending, the bad ending, if you meet the criteria for the bad ending, like nuclear bombs go off in the city and cause mass destruction. That's not a very good looking artist rendition. Some of those other panels look fine, that one didn't. And that star means I beat it all the way through without using a continue. High score, 716,110 points. Very good. So anyway, Streets of Rage 2. I had to play it sooner or later, and we're going to be doing a lot more Genesis games in the future. So stick around and have a safe rest of your day.